What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Burndown YouTube channel. We are back out here once again with the big old Mamma Jamma Champion Cooling Systems radiator. And today is the first day of me trying to get things organized and put together in a manner, in a fashion, so we can stuff it on home into the Twinnebago and be icy cool for all of the road trips, all the hills, all the summer driving that we take this big old Bago on. So if you watched the last video, you saw me pull this thing out. We basically gutted everything out of the front for the most part. You can see the motor and all that in there. I have it sitting over there. There's the old one, if you didn't see the last video. And we're upgrading to a much larger radiator. Since this is a new fancy radiator, I'm going to show you guys a trick or a tip that I do. I've only had a couple new radiators in my life, so I'll just throw that out there. Well, technically, I think we're up to like 3 now. Like 3 different ones that I've had. Usually, if you get a car that has a working radiator, you can have it cord and kind of use it depending on the shape of it. Or, you know, if you get one from like Champion, chances are they're going to have your needs in stock, and then you just pull it out of the box and bolt it down. But maybe you're like me and you have some donkey project, like a Malibu or like a Twinnebago, where the rules kind of don't apply because you're outside of the boundaries of normal. So if that is you and that is the case, you need to actually mock stuff up. First and foremost, we want to protect these pretty little fins. These guys are they're not too bad. On the other side, there's a couple that kind of got a little munched or whatever. And of course, because I unboxed this a while ago and I got outside and showed everybody, and I kept it in my back room, well, of course I didn't put it back in the box it came in, which I should have, but I didn't. And anyway, when you're doing mock-up, you want to protect this, and I find a really simple, easy solution you're going to have on hand if you buy a new radiator is the box it came in. That's right. Obviously, this is bigger. It houses the entire radiator. Now we just need a section of cardboard large enough, and it'll sit right in between all this stuff. Boop, and you can just tape it in place. It doesn't have to be mounted all crazy, but a nice layer of cardboard, especially this, because this is nice and thick, this is a good buffer. You know, it's going to spread it out. If you bump it or you're handling it and you know, do anything, you're not going to do any damage. Because I will tell you that these little fins on here, if you look at them wrong, they will bend. Like, I think I just bent a couple just now doing that. No, I'm just playing. But seriously, they're super thin, and if you nudge it at all, they just fold over. And you need those things nice and straight so the air can travel through and dissipate the heat. So on the other side, we got some little blunders and bloopers. And I did take a tour of Champion Cooling Systems radiators, and they have a dude, and he sits in the back. I don't think it's his only job, but I think one of the functions that the guy does is he puts his headphones on. He has these little tiny pliers and tools, and he'll take any radiator if they're working on something or moving something, or maybe a core shift and it's not perfect, he straightens these out. So all these little things, like this one, like he'd probably freak out right now if he saw that on video, and he'd want to come over here and straighten that thing, but he'll make them all perfect. And I don't know, let me know in the comment section if you guys could do that job or not. I could probably do it for like a little while, but I think my mind would start wandering, and I don't know. I don't know how well I could do that. I can do body work, but this kind of tedious with the hand and the tools, I don't know. Like sanding stuff's fairly easy because I can listen to podcasts while I do that. But anyway, I digress. Let me get a measurement on this. We'll rip out a big piece of cardboard. We'll sandwich it on both sides. And then today's plan is to kind of pick a spot and figure out how we're going to get this mounted to the radiator. This is obviously the front side where the air is going to come through. So that will be on the opposite side. But I want to protect both sides of this core so we can flop it around, work on it, and I don't have to worry about so much about giving it dirty looks and having those fins bend. So let me cut that out. We'll tape some cardboard to it, and then we'll bring you back, and we're going to start kind of spitballing, ideaing, and measuring up for the fan. All right, we have our strategically cut cardboard, and it should fit right on there like so. So that will be good enough. Maybe trim it a little bit, and then we'll just get some tape, and then I can just tape it. Fits good up there. Get a little trimming to do here. We'll trim this down. We'll tape it on both sides, and that should protect the core. Then we flip this over, and I'm going to tape another one on the other side because we're going to be messing with the fan. putting it off and on and moving stuff around. I don't want to get all crazy with the cheese whiz and mess something up. So we'll trim this down. Now that you guys saw that we used our little cardboard, that was my little trick to keeping the fins hopefully nice and straight. We will move on. We'll get this taped up, and then we will start fitting that fan. We'll take a look at it together and pull some measurements and see how we go. Woo-wee, look at that thing. That thing is not a sexy combination of mechanical and electrical cooling. I don't know what is. It's my favorite part. It's little flat doors, right? So enough of that. What we're gonna do now is we have a little decision making to make, because we have room on either side, right? I can move this back and forth, up and down, because this is such a giant core. We've got options with this. So one of the issues I had, if you watch the other video, is on this setup, I ended up having to grind into the little shroud here. So the fan is, you know, forward of that by quite a bit. And the water pump has a little snout on it. Let me show you guys instead of just tell you, because it's really easy to show you. These come with a mechanical fan, right? So you spin that off and basically throw it in the trash, is what most people do. Well, it sticks out, you know, that's a good inch or so. And everything was pretty tight in here when I put it in to make room for the turbos, right? And my thought was to kind of keep the radiator off the turbos, like not have them immediately on there. So I pushed everything back, and I had a different fan set up before that fit. And when I went to the brushless, that was kind of an issue. So we were able to resolve it by just grinding stuff down, and it ended up working out. But I've done some measuring, and it seems that the depth of this fan is a lot wider because of this motor structure, the width on it, the way it's set up versus this one. Or what? Yeah, this is more pancake. It's larger. Eddie wants to say hi. Where's your toy? Get your toy. Get your toy. Go get your toy. Give me it. Give me. Drop it. So anyway, this one's more shallow, which is great, but also I need to get an overall measurement. You know, this used to sit down here in the bottom, so up here is where that snout lives. So we can do the same measurement on here. And I did a tentative measurement, so from the bottom, it looks like the snout's gonna be somewhere around here, which isn't even close, right? Because this is our thick point, and then it thins out. And as long as we have enough room away from the blades, we should be good. But if the snout is here, we're gonna have to make sure this thing doesn't really move, because there's a lot more weight and a bigger tank up top under like acceleration, so it doesn't push this blade into that snout. So that is my concern. We'll make sure we have adequate room there. But let's pull some measurements. I'll show you guys where I decide to kind of place it, and then we're gonna figure out how we hook into this. I think using existing may be the easiest way to go, but let me measure off camera and then let you know what we decide, and we're gonna figure out how to attach this, hopefully, to this. All right, so I've been sitting out here racking my brain. The GoPro died, and I think we're just gonna keep it simple. So I made this little cardboard template. I found some scrap aluminum that should work. So I think I'm just gonna extend this flange with a piece of aluminum, and although it does technically block off part of the radiator, I think maybe we can just come back and punch some holes so at least the air can kind of go through the aluminum piece that we make. And then I will just make a little piece here as well. We'll figure out, maybe I can just rivet it to here so it'll stick out, and we can attach it to this, right? So we'll have 3 attachment points on this side, and then we will have those 2, and then I think we'll be able to make another one here, which will attach to this, and then this will obviously attach to that. So I feel like that should be enough to attach it. And this is easy enough to make. So I'll just make a square piece real quick. We'll just trace out my little cardboard guy I made, cut out a square that, and then I'll punch some holes. And then we should be able to make some holes in things and make a flange and get this thing to stay on there. Maybe we'll see if we can go sneak it in the Bago. So let me do the holes and the cutting, and we'll bring you back. I'll show you what that looks like. All right, let me share where I've gotten on this thing. It started raining a bit more. It's supposed to be done today, but it's getting worse instead of better. Everything's getting all wet. So I'm gonna call it a day, I think, on this, or an afternoon, I should say. So I have, let me zoom out for you guys, this little plate guy made with all the hardware. I need to get some flat. These are button head, but I want to get some flat and kind of almost countersink the back side of this so we don't have any issues with it getting into the radiator. The radiator core with this thing vibrating and moving around. Granted, you know, I have the cardboard here and this is kind of barely indenting and touching the cardboard, but that's kind of too close for my comfort on the guide that's facing out here and on this one. So these will kind of clamp this side piece down. This will hold this side of the fan to the radiator, and then I'm going to rivet this little piece of aluminum to the edge here, and this will hold this corner. And I've got one here where we need a spacer because we've got a gap, right? And then we've got one here, spacer, gap, same thing. So we'll have 3 points of contact here, and then the 2 here, and then we'll have this whole piece, you know, to hold the thing into place. So I feel like that should be pretty good. We'll kind of have to see. And then at that point, I kind of want to mount it in the Bago. Obviously today is not playing well. And I'll probably break and make some sort of piece depending on how this fits, if I can, to kind of grab the bottom of this, right? To keep the bottom from moving, because that's a pretty long span in my opinion to just not have anything or have this thing bouncing and moving and rubbing on stuff. So I think we will do that, but I want to test fit stuff so I know where everything kind of lands, so I'm not fabricating for nothing, because obviously it takes a long time to do a little bit of stuff, right? So that is a wrap for today. We finished this on the old phone because the GoPro was giving me grief, and then we started off really positive and happy, and then it just kept raining more and more, and I was kind of squishing things in here, and you know, it is the afternoon, so I'm just going to call it a day. But I feel like we got pretty far. We got a plan. I've got some execution here. I need to pick up hardware anyway, so we're really kind of not out of the woods. But I think this will work for the most part. And then I think maybe we can come back on this side here because it is blocking some radiator. Once this is in place and everything works, I can just come back with like a hole saw and then punch. I don't want to make it complete Swiss cheese because it is structure, but we'll open that up so at least the air can kind of flow through that side. Granted, this is the side where all the turbo and stuff is and all the exhaust, so it's kind of one of those deals anyway. I don't know what kind of cooling is going to go down right here. And then I'd like to capture the bottom of this thing, or at least make it rigid, and make mounts. We'll figure that out. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there, like I said, because we need to install it. And I don't know, so I'm not going to sit there and waste time. But I feel like we did good today. So that is it. You guys know what to do. Till next time, I'm out.
Feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.